A black limo pulled up outside the old diner. People inside stopped eating and stared. Nobody had ever seen a car like that in this neighborhood. Not here, not outside Mel's diner, where the neon sign barely worked and the parking lot was full of holes. What they didn't know was that it all started the night before, when Maya gave her leftover sandwich to an old homeless man everyone else ignored. Maya Rodriguez was rushing between tables, her hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. She'd been working for 14 straight hours, and her cheap shoes were killing her feet. The diner was busy with the usual crowd, people getting off work, others who couldn't sleep, and some trying to sober up before going home. The place smelled like old grease and burnt coffee. The floor was sticky, the booths were cracked, and the customers weren't exactly friendly. Maya worked here because she had to. Bills don't pay themselves, and this was the only job she could find. Before we continue with Maya's story, please hit that subscribe button. Your support means everything to us and helps us bring you more stories like this one. Maya was broke, really broke. Her rent was overdue, her fridge was empty, and she was working double shifts just to survive. Her manager Carl made it clear that every free meal cost the diner money. It was almost closing time when the old man walked in. His clothes were torn and dirty, his beard gray and messy. He moved slowly, like every step hurt. Maya could see his hands shaking as he stood by the door, looking around nervously. The few customers left started whispering. "Great, another beggar," one said loud enough for everyone to hear. "Someone should call the cops," another added. Maya watched as people turned away, pretending not to see him. Carl was in the back office, but Maya knew what he'd say. No free food, no exceptions. The diner was barely making money as it was. Every sandwich, every cup of coffee had to be paid for. Just last week, he'd fired another waitress for giving away day-old donuts. But looking at the old man, Maya saw her own grandfather. He'd passed away 2 years ago, but she remembered how he used to shuffle around when his arthritis got bad. This man looked hungry, really hungry. His cheeks were hollow, and his jacket hung loose on his thin frame. Maya walked over with a plate of leftover meatloaf and mashed potatoes. The food was still warm from sitting under the heat lamps. "Here," she said quietly, setting it down at a corner table. The old man looked up at her with watery blue eyes. "Thank you, miss," he whispered, his voice cracked and rough. The other customers shook their heads. "That girl's too soft," someone muttered. "No wonder this place is going downhill." Maya pretended not to hear them, but inside she wondered if they were right. Could she really afford to be giving away food when she couldn't even pay her own rent? When her electricity might get cut off next week? Still watching the old man eat slowly and carefully, like each bite was precious, Maya knew she'd made the right choice. The next morning, Carl was waiting for Maya when she clocked in. "I heard what you did last night," he said, arms crossed. "That food costs money, Maya." "Money we don't have." His face was red, and Maya could see the vein in his forehead that only showed up when he was really angry. "It was just leftovers," Maya said quietly. "We were going to throw it away anyway." "That's not the point," Carl snapped. "Word gets around. Give food to one bum and 10 more show up tomorrow. You want to be a charity worker? Go volunteer at a soup kitchen. The other waitresses weren't much better." During her break, Maya overheard them talking. "She thinks she's some kind of saint," said Jennifer, the waitress who'd worked there longest. "Wait until she gets fired for being stupid." Maya's problems at home were getting worse too. Her landlord had left 3 messages about the overdue rent. Her fridge had nothing but expired milk and half a jar of peanut butter. She'd been eating crackers for dinner 2 nights in a row. But when the old man came back the next evening, Maya didn't hesitate. She gave him a bowl of soup and some bread rolls. He ate slowly, like he was trying to make it last. "God bless you," he said before leaving. The following night, he returned again, and the night after that. Each time, Maya fed him whatever she could find. Each time, Carl got angrier. Each time, her coworkers whispered louder. Maya knew she was walking a thin line. One more complaint, and Carl would fire her. But every time she looked at the old man's grateful face, she couldn't bring herself to care. By the 4th night, Maya learned his name was Harold. He spoke softly, with better grammar than most of her customers. "I used to have a table like this one," he said, running his weathered hand along the cracked formica. "Oak, though. Much nicer." Maya sat across from him during her break. "What happened?" she asked gently. Harold smiled sadly. "Life happened. Bad choices, worse luck." He took a slow sip of coffee. "I had a business once, employees, a nice house." He paused, staring out the window. Funny how fast it all disappears. There was something different about Harold. He said please and thank you like he meant it. He never made a mess, always stacked his dishes neatly. When other homeless people came by asking for money, Harold would shake his head and say, "Get a job, son. There's always work if you look hard enough." Maya's own situation was falling apart. Her electricity got shut off, so she'd been showering at the gym and charging her phone at work. Her car broke down, and she couldn't afford to fix it. Walking to work in worn-out shoes left her feet covered in blisters. But Harold always asked how she was doing. Really asked, like he cared about the answer. "You're too kind for this world," he told her one night. "Don't let them change that about you." Maya wondered what he meant by them, but Harold had already finished eating and was heading back into the cold night. 2 weeks later, Carl cornered Maya in the kitchen. "This stops now," he said, waving a finger in her face. "I've had 3 customers complain about the smell and the begging. You feed that old man one more time, you're fired." "I mean it, Maya." Maya's heart sank. She couldn't lose this job. Her landlord had already posted an eviction notice on her door. She had exactly $12 in her bank account and no family to call for help. That evening, Harold shuffled in just before closing. Maya looked toward Carl's office, then back at Harold. He looked thinner than usual, his hands shaking more than before. "I'm sorry," Maya whispered. "I can't give you anything tonight." "My boss said." "I understand," Harold said quietly. He started to turn away. Maya watched him walk toward the door, his shoulders hunched against the cold. She thought about her empty apartment, her overdue bills, the job she desperately needed. Then she looked at the leftover chicken sandwich sitting under the heat lamp. "Harold, wait." She grabbed the sandwich and her own dinner, a small salad she'd bought with her employee discount. "Here, take both." "Maya, no, you need to eat too." "I'll be fine," she lied. She had no idea where her next meal would come from, but she couldn't watch Harold leave hungry. Harold took the food with tears in his eyes. "You don't know what this means," he said. "What you mean?" As he walked into the night, Maya wondered if she'd just made the biggest mistake of her life. Tomorrow she might not have a job. Tonight, she definitely didn't have dinner. Maya barely slept that night, wondering if Carl would fire her the moment she walked in. She arrived early, hoping to avoid him, but stopped dead when she saw the black limousine parked outside. Through the window, she watched a man in an expensive suit step out. Behind him came two other people carrying briefcases and folders. Maya's heart raced. Had someone complained about the diner? Were they here to shut them down? The door opened and Maya's breath caught in her throat. The man in the suit was Harold, but not the Harold she knew. This Harold stood straight and tall. His hair was clean and perfectly styled. His beard was neatly trimmed. The expensive suit fit him perfectly. "Maya," he said, walking toward her. His voice was the same, but everything else had changed. "I don't understand," Maya whispered, her hands shaking. Harold smiled gently. "My real name is Harold Morrison. I own Morrison Industries. You might have seen our buildings downtown." Maya's legs felt weak. Morrison Industries was huge. She'd seen their name on construction sites all over the city. "3 months ago, I lost faith in people," Harold continued. "My business partner stole from me. My wife left. My own son wouldn't return my calls. I decided to test whether kindness still existed in this world." He gestured to his assistants. "I spent 2 months living on the streets. Most people ignored me. Some were cruel. But you—" His voice broke slightly. "You gave me food when you had nothing. You treated me like a human being when everyone else saw trash." Maya stared at him, tears filling her eyes. "You were testing me?" "I was testing everyone," Harold said. "You're the only one who passed." "I want to offer you a job," Harold said, opening one of the briefcases. "Regional manager for my restaurant chain. Starting salary is $80,000 a year." Maya's mouth fell open. She'd never made more than minimum wage in her life. "But first," Harold continued, pulling out a thick envelope, "let me take care of your immediate problems." Inside was enough cash to pay her rent for 6 months. "Your car will be fixed by tomorrow. Your electricity turned back on today." The other customers in the diner had stopped eating entirely. They stared in complete silence as Harold's assistant handed Maya official documents. Carl emerged from his office, his face pale with shock. "There's one more thing," Harold said. "I'm funding a scholarship program in your name. Every year we'll help 10 people get job training and find work. Because you showed me that good people still exist." Maya wiped away her tears. "I'll take the job, but only if we can start a community meal program. Every restaurant, every night. Nobody goes hungry." Harold smiled. "I wouldn't expect anything less from you. Sometimes kindness costs us everything we think we have, only to give us back everything we never imagined we could receive." Maya's story reminds us that our character isn't defined by what we own, but by what we're willing to give away. What would you have done in Maya's situation? Let me know in the comments below.